Hey everybody, it's a brand new genuine Toyota differential. This is our 2008 120 Proto that's done nearly 460,000 kilometers. And recently, yes, it did make it to the Cape, the top tip of Australia once again, not for the first time, and it made it back. But my mistake, I believe, allowing someone else to work on the vehicle, broke my own rules. But someone else, we had a pinion seal leak here, very minor. I consider removing the shaft, the nut, doing the seal myself. It's a bit of a 50-50. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't, but really you haven't got much to lose. And I went, you know what? Just do it properly. Take it to the diff guy. This is what he specializes in. So I took the center out and I gave it to the diff guy. And here we are now with it's been whining for 5,000 Ks. And we've been waiting 3 months for a replacement. So I haven't as yet drained the oil. So there might be more than one video on this. So if you want a bit more history, I'm sure we'll have a playlist there called Diffs and Lockers or something like that with all the information you need. Everything we've got for you anyway. And you'll be able to find a bit of background history on this. Let me know in the comments if I've got it wrong, because I just go from memory. Because when you just tell the truth and you're honest in how it is, you don't have to remember much. It's just what you remember. So hopefully I don't get it wrong though. So what I'm going to do now is drain plug out, filler plug out, 24 mil, get the oil out of it. Next part of the process, we'll be pulling the axles and prop shafts, possibly maybe even not pull it, just disconnect this end here and tie it up the top there so it's out of the way. That's what I'm thinking. We're gonna make it the smoothest, easiest way possible for you that I can figure out anyway. So it might not be the best, you never know. I make mistakes too. So it's probably worth watching because you might be able to learn from my mistakes. Let's drop this oil out and see what it looks like. Probably gonna have to do a lot of cleaning because we've got a brand new diff here. Have a look at this thing, right? It's hardly even got a, you know, just made in Japan, right? Fresh Toyota genuine parts, because I just wanted a new one. I just wanted to be how it was in 2008 with a new one. And then if this seal ever leaks, well, I'll be careful not to park it in mud and bog holes and stuff, but if it ever leaks again, you know, I'll take care of it myself. I'll have a spare one there unless I sell it to someone that needs a rear diff. So yes, we'll have a spare rear diff for sale, either as it is or a bit dearer, obviously, with a kit put through it with bearings and everything. I'm sure the crown wheel and pinion will be fine, bloody quality parts. So if you take some teeth off, I might have a spare one here for you. Anyway, let's get this oil. I'm gonna do a few due diligence checks, right? Because if I've parked it in mud and filled it up with water or mud, then fair's fair, there's not gonna be any warranty on that. Well, there's no warranty anyway. You only get 12 months warranty with this guy, even if Toyotas generally don't have any problems with whining and bearing problems, and you've only put it together less than 50,000 Ks ago. So 24mm socket, single hex, carefully crack those nuts loose if they haven't been over tightened. They'll be pretty easy to get out. You can put new washers if you want. I'm gonna do a bit of an oil sample, show you what it looks like in the video, and then we'll drop this out, and I'm collecting the oil in that nice clean tray so that we can at least have a look at it, right? So first thing I wanna do, done it in another video, I'm just gonna put the fingertip in, show you, I don't know if you can see that, how nice and clean. Look how blue and clean that oil is. That looks pretty good, but anything could be in there, I suppose. So let's get this drain plug out and see what it looks like as it's coming out. And then it's going to look bad looking at it in the tray, always does. That's why really I want to have a good look at it while it's coming out. And you guys, oh, look at that oil, mate. That is absolutely beautiful, that oil. So there's no contamination there. My vehicles are over serviced. Look how bloody clean that oil is. It's hard to believe the diff's got a whine, doesn't it? Unbelievable. Have a look at that. That is unbelievably good. I'm astonished how good that oil looks. Just absolutely fantastic. And that's why you do the maintenance and keep it clean. But if you let the wrong person work on the vehicle and they get all the setup wrong, you're gonna end up with problems one way or the other. It's not the oil, it's not the maintenance this time, it's not the bog holes, it's not contamination. Look at it, it's just beautiful. Look at it, it's like new oil. Have a look at that, right? Which is good news for me. I go, that's, considering it's like that, that's good. And you know what I've been saying about, you know, if you don't do the job right, I think you should man up and say, hey, you know what, you're right, that shouldn't do that. That's not normal. It's only done 50,000 Ks. Toyota diffs, you're right, they generally, all these Prados, we don't see, I know someone that's a Prado specialist in a previous life, and he said we don't see any issues with Prado Hilux diffs until people break them, spinning wheels hit the ground and all that in the tracks, but they just bloody go forever, literally go forever. They just never wear out, which is why I made the decision just to go for a new one. Might have been costly, yeah, retail price, nearly close to $3,000, about 2,800 bucks. Was it that plus? Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, 2.5, $3,000, whatever. A lot of money. Let's let this all drain and we'll continue, maybe see what happens. So there's going to be some separate videos. This one is going to be more the analysis of trying to work out what went wrong and just having a look. Let's have a look at this new diff and have a look what backlash normally looks like. We're not going to measure it, but when you get a new one, what it sort of looks like, it's like, it doesn't even move. Like, it's like, you can feel it. It's just cracking. It is so good. I'm just having a feel of it. Obviously you can't feel it, but maybe I'm just demonstrating what I'm doing, because I'm going to do this with the old one as well and see if I notice anything really obvious. Some inspections on obviously the crown wheel, the pinion, that sort of thing. Depending what we find, it might get rebuilt, or you never know, it might even just stay the way it is because it still works and end up in a farm truck that doesn't care if it's got a whine. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not that bad. It's just not the sort of thing you'd take 5,000 k's from home just in case it was something that's bad. Like I said, looking down at the oil, generally it's always going to look bad, but that looks nice and blue. What's draining out still looks really good, but you want to look at the metal on the magnet. It's telling a story as well. There's actually not that much there. So let's have a bit of a play around while I've got my hands free. Right, get a few things out of the way here. You might want to, if you're going to do this job, have a, a 10mm pipe spanner handy. This is the old snap-on one, whatever. Some inox to spray on the bolts before, and of course a genuine gasket, which we got there. Oh, some brake line clamps. Here you go. Get these at Super Cheap Auto, a pair of those, probably for $10 or something, more or less. Now let's just have a look at this, because that's, you can see how clean the oil is, but there is metal there. But diffs normally have metal on the drain plug, so I wouldn't say that's too bad. So now I'm back to going, gee, well, I hope this is the diff, because what I've heard when I did the diagnosis video, see the metal there, right? That I wouldn't say is any worse than plenty other diffs I've seen. So looking at that, I wouldn't say there's any stupid amount of wear or anything like that going on there. And that's a pretty old washer, eh? Have a look at that. Have a look how old that one is, mate. Come on, Anthony. Change the washer. Risk it for the biscuit, some things like that. I mean, it's never going to be anything major. It's a bit of testing, we just keep using it. It could have been going for the last 10 years, But you can see the metal there. We're going to clean it all out. But it's good that the magnet's there, because what it's doing, anything that's worn around the bearings, pinion, crown wheel, broken bits, it falls straight down, right? And ends up straight at this magnet. So every metal component particle, can you believe this got noisy 5,000 k's from home, and it got noisy and it's done 5,000 k's like that, right? So quite educational for me, and hopefully for you guys too, except for all, of course, all the diff specialists that have got nothing better to do but watch other YouTube videos. But I'm going to give it more of a cleanup, but pretty boring really. Anyway, I'm no diff specialist, and a few of you already figured that out because you are the experts. I learned about diffs and how to set diffs up many years ago, over 30 years, over 3 decades ago at trade school. What was it, at Box Hill College or something, wasn't it called? Anyway, yeah, that one over there in Mitcham. Anyway, and it'll all come back to me, and we've done a bit of work with diffs recently, so we go okay, but we're certainly not the specialists. And when you do something like this all day, every day, you'd certainly get good at it, you would think, and you should know more than me about it. So my question for the experts that have watched this far through the video, if you could help me out. So I assumed that maybe he's put too much preload and it's chewed out the bearings. It doesn't look like any bearing damage to me from what I've seen in that oil and on that magnetic plug. It looks normal. So if it looks normal and I've got a whine, then back to the books for me. But I'm going to assume some wear on this crown wheel and the pinion could cause that sort of whining, which means it would still be a reliable diff and a vehicle. It's not going to break. The bearings are fine. It's just making noise coming from this area here. So perhaps when the diff was done, maybe the crown wheel and pinion should have been replaced. Maybe they had some wear on it, whatever the case may be. Whatever, I don't know why, but go on, I'll be looking in the comments. Let's wrap this one up. I'll do another video or two, probably make it a quick one, trying to show you some tips and tricks on how to change this rear diff center carrier assembly. Of course, make sure the vehicle's nice and clean. See how this is nice and clean, easy to work on. You can get to all the bolts and everything. Beautiful, because that's what you're going to do, right? So put it up, get the wheels off, drain the oil, of course. There's a couple of different ways to do things. You can take the calipers off and your discs and clean everything out while you're at it, or you can leave it on there. But one thing you certainly need to do to pull the axle far enough out, because you know, you'd pull the axle right out would be ideal, change the seals and a few other bit of maintenance like that. But up here, it's a bit hard to show you at the moment, which is why I thought I'd do a separate video. Disconnect the brake line and remove the clip and take it out of this housing, which has got the bracket for the brake line, and that way you'll be able to pull the axle out a couple inches far enough to clear the diff. Axles go in there, right? And there's some teeth in there, whatever, right? So as long as they come out a couple inches and clear this area here, it'll be able to slide in and out. There's some other precautions though. Inside here, there's some other pieces that you don't want to be pushing out of position when you put the axle back in. So you got to be careful to lift the axle up. You got to angle it by grabbing the rotor and lifting it up. Don't force anything or you'll pop that out of place, and that'll be bad news as well. And once you've got those axles pulled out, it's literally a matter of, like I said, 4 bolts here. Lift that up, tie that out of the way. You've got about 4 bolts on your axle as well. Careful of your ABS sensor. What's probably a good idea, once again, is to just unplug that, maybe even disconnect it, take it out. Give it a clean while you're at it. It wouldn't hurt, and you can put some molly coat on the O-rings. But you've got, 4 bolts, see, 2 at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 2 at the top, right? Sorry, Paul, I didn't have the pointer handy, but I'm sure everyone can see what that one is. So once you've done the 4 bolts at each side, pull the axles out a bit. 4 bolts up here on your propeller shaft. Then you just undo all these and the thing just comes out forward as an assembly, and anyone can do that. It's a pretty straightforward job. Again, I'm making mechanics, technicians out of you apprentices still, so stay tuned, and we'll get on with this job in the morning. It's just a bit of preparation ready for the morning. Thanks for watching. Bada bing, bada boom. Hope we're all learning something and enjoying it. Catch you on the next one.